What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and today in What in the Lore, we're talking about major spoilers for Anthem. We're going to be talking about the story, what we know about it, what we know about the world. There's going to be a bit of speculation as it also relates to Christian mysticism as numerology goes, where we break down and look at some of the themes that we see present in the story about General Helena Tarsis and more about the Shapers, the Urgoth, and how this all kind of relates. So it's come with me on this crazy journey, if you will. If you've got your own theories, speculate those in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video and other videos we do, be sure to hit that like button and tell your friends about us. But beyond that, guys, this is where we're going to start to dive into spoiler territory. This story begins before the Shapers. Now, we believe that the Shapers left these relics around the world and they formed it, but it seems like there is something that goes on beyond that. And so we've seen the Asnu, these pre-Urgoth, these Shapers, what was coming before all of this. There's so much going on to unpack here, so I'm going to just do a high-level summary, and we're going to be doing a much deeper dive into it. But they believe that the Anthem of creation has existed, and it's this force of creation and destruction, because that is in and of itself its nature, and that it has a will, and it sings to us. And we've seen this as it relates to the various characters, especially the ciphers in this world. They hear the call, the song of the anthem, and it can drive them to continually go back to it. So let's go ahead and talk about, and let's look at a poem about the anthem. Oh, when did the world start singing, and who brought forth the song? Did the Shapers write the music, or did they just sing along? Why did their choir so suddenly abandon all they had made? Did they choose to leave their instruments, or were they just mislaid? Mothers, won't you sing to us, teach us how to play? Fathers, take us in your arms and hum to us this way. The anthem of creation lives within us all. Will you sing your melody? Will you hear its call? Now, if you spend any amount of time working with the echoes and the relics and silencing these, Shaper relics so that they don't go catastrophic and destroy everything, you'll obviously hear various tones, various music. And so it's really interesting to see that kind of theme leaned into it. But let's talk a little bit about the Shapers. Let's talk about a little bit about the Christian tie-in here, because this is some of the stuff that I think is really most incredibly fascinating. So first, when we talk about the Shapers, it's believed that they were forming the world and they were going to work on this for 9 days. If we look at what the 9 value represents, there's various Christian and also other symbolism behind the number 9 itself. But the number 9 is essentially the hour of prayer, a perfection or a sanctification number. So Jesus died during the 9th hour hanging on the cross. In Catholicism, the novena is an act of saying prayers for 9 consecutive days. There is so many kind of ideas behind the number 9. However, we know that after 3 days, the Shapers packed up and left. They left everything behind. So 3, there's a lot of themes here, obviously, in the Bible as well. Jesus was resurrected on the 3rd day. Earthly ministry lasted for 3 years. Jonah spent 3 days in the belly of a whale. So you see a lot of this on the 3rd day kind of mentality, right? But this goes even further, and this ties into General Helena Tarsis. So let's talk about the general real quick and what the game has to say about her. So this is what the library has to say about General Helena Tarsis. The first Lancer and leader of the Legion of Dawn, Helena Tarsis is humanity's most revered and celebrated hero. The volume of Tarsis claims that she was the lone survivor of an escaped group of slaves, although the general reportedly spoke little about her past. Tarsis, her husband, garnered the chronicler, an inventor, Arden Vasa, recruited and trained an army to overthrow the Urgoth. At the Dawn Gates, Tarsis fell in battle, preventing the Urgoth's final act of vengeance, the attack on the human settlement of Anthem. Sometime after her death, she was reportedly spotted near Ashnar, prompting the belief that she would rise again and inspiring construction of Helena's Walk Temple. So this is really where it starts to get interesting for me. Obviously, General Tarsis is a very Christ-like figure in both that they laid down their lives, and then now also rumored or speculation or theory or hope or whatever that these characters in these stories that have happened many centuries ago are starting to tell, right? So you have that they've been seen. Now, we don't have a specific day, 3, that they were seen 3 days after this event. However, the belief that we'll see General Tarsis again, and even in the game when you actually speak to her through the various quest lines, there is definitely some form of mysticism, some spirituality that's being brought in here. Now, is this all driven by the Anthem? The Anthem can sing to humans. So this is where, if you guys aren't aware, let's talk about the Urgoth for a while. The Urgoth are these, monsters, these towering beasts that are taller than a Colossus javelin, and they essentially enslaved humanity. So when they came into this world, the Shapers have already left, and they, presumably came here to take over, to try to get and harness the power of the Anthem or these relics. So humans, they discovered, were having a more sensitivity to that of the Anthem, to that of the relics. And obviously through the power of these embers and infusing that, we've been able to develop psychic ability, some kind of connection, and thus you see that with the ciphers, right? So there is that connection here. Now, General Tarsis helped free humanity. She helped set us free on our own path, and thus we are here in this new world, in this world that we don't really fully understand, in this world that's extremely dangerous and hazardous to us. Going out about, there are plants that will just melt your face with spores off so your javelin protects you. So beyond that, we have these great and fanciful tales of the past that have happened, but in the game, we're in these flying mech suits that have this sense of technology. And so the question, as we start to see, and as the main story of this game concludes with the reveal that the Urgoth are on their way back. We have finally had one, we found one, we've captured one, we've killed one, after centuries of them being gone and just being a boogie monster, a myth, a legend to tell and scare children at night. And it seems that just even 100 or several centuries later, how that legend and how things that have happened become myth. And we say, like, maybe they're not as exaggerated as they were. Maybe it was something a little bit more practical. And so there's so much to go on here, the Dawn Javelin, all of these things that are really interesting. But the things that again stood out to me, obviously the number 3, why did the Shapers leave after 3 days? The number 9, how that relates to various numerology within Christian cultures. But then you have General Tarsis that laid down their life, obviously becoming a legend, a myth within kind of stories to tell people, but then having kind of visions or people saying that they've seen her, after the fact, and wondering if that she's going to return someday. Will she return to fight the Urgoth? Who knows? This world Anthem is big, it's beautiful, it's insane, and I'm really excited, and I'm loving diving in to all the corners here. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to my friend Dave, Ghost Cat, who has been also diving in and helping to kind of fill in these gaps with the story. As all these things are going on. There's all these different characters that feed different information about this world, and obviously collecting all the different lore about the areas. Like we said, we got the Shapers. You have the Azu, anybody who was formed before the Urgoth, really ancient, because they were before the Urgoth came. There were ancient structures, like we said at the beginning with Azu. I'm a little kind of crazy all over the place because oh man, I'm so excited, and I'm really loving the story. At the end of it, again, like I said, that's just some speculation. That's some theory crafting. We're going to keep diving in. I'm sure we're going to get other interesting cultures to have an impact of it. The last thought and the question I want to leave off to you, if you're so interested in having this conversation with me about the lore, is does this world tie into Mass Effect whatsoever? Were humans already spacebound, and thus a group of them were captured by the Urgoth and brought to this planet in which that you have this Anthem that sings and creates and destroys. It has been described as a river running through, and the relics act as these various dams, and that has a form of tension to it. So there's a lot to unpack there. Do you guys think this world is related to Mass Effect at all? It'll be interesting to see if we see some kind of connection there. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you found it entertaining in some way, at least kicking the conversation and the discussion of theory crafting. Some crazy theories right now within the world of Anthem. Guys, my name is Brian. This is Work to Game. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And share out the video if you're so inclined. But anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Hey, it's me. It's been a while since I talked to you guys directly this way, but don't tell anybody. We've got even more epic content planned for this channel. The response has been incredible. We hope to see you. If you're new, hit subscribe, leave us a comment. I'd like to talk to you more about video games. I can't seem to speak my language. All right.